So, hi everyone. I welcome you all to the Indian Geography Foundation batch, lecture 1. You people can switch on your cameras, those who are comfortable, so that we can have a. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Asif, Vani, Pawan, Priya, Shivanshu, Shalu. So, your physical geography is done. So, if I will be asking you questions, will you be able to give the answers? Simple questions, not the difficult one. Okay. So basically, there is some difference between physical geography and Indian geography as such. Acha, first, let me know that which subjects have you completed till now? Let me ask you: is polity done? Polity, okay. History, okay. For E5, history is done. Economy, it is going on. Okay. Environment, environment is done. Okay, economy is going on, history is done, and environment. Okay. Why am I asking these things? Because there will be few things which will be interrelated with the Indian geography. Okay. For example, when in Indian geography we will be discussing agriculture, so there will be a huge overlapping of agriculture from Indian geography's perspective and economy's perspective. Right. When we will be discussing about natural vegetation in Indian geography, so it will be having a huge overlapping with the environment part. Okay, so that is the basic objective, so that I get to know that which subjects are completed. Okay, when we have to talk about Indian geography versus physical geography, if we have to let's say the broad overview, just a minute. Yeah, so when we discuss about Indian geography as such, you must have witnessed that physical geography is more conceptual in nature. Okay, but the issue, the merit as well as demerit with Indian geography is that it is factual in nature. So now those students who are good in memorizing things, so Indian geography will be very easy for them. Okay. Those students who are very good in understanding the things, linking the logics, physical geography is very good for them. But the thing is that questions are going to come from both these components, and you need to work on your weaker part also. Okay. So if you are weak in memorizing, you have to memorize. So there will be certain memory techniques also which we will be discussing कि याद कैसे करना है. Okay. And if there are some logical issues or conceptual issues, so we can discuss them also. Second important thing is, if you have some doubts from the physical geography part also, so you can ask me. Okay, we'll discuss it in the class. We can discuss it after the class also. So so all your queries will be addressed. No need to worry. Fine. If we have to talk about the nature of this subject, one, it is factual in nature, right? Second thing is, the things which you have read in the physical geography, you have to apply those things. For example, this will be an application part. Let's say you must have read about plate tectonics theory and continental drift theory. Okay, so you know that there are three types of plate boundaries: convergent boundaries, divergent boundaries, and the slide past boundaries, right? Which one are the constructive margins? This is a question. Which type of boundary is a constructive margin? Convergent boundaries, divergent boundaries. Everyone? No. Divergent. So this is a one mistake which in a hurry everyone does, because convergent boundaries and constructive margins con is common, so generally we tend to give this answer. See, constructive margins, that means a crust will be created, will be constructed on a margin. That is why it is a constructive margin. How the crust can be created? When there will be a divergent boundary and the magma will be coming up and it will be solidifying and will be forming a new crust. Okay. So whenever there will be a divergence, only then there will be upcoming of magma and solidification and formation of new crust, and hence known as the constructive margins. Are you getting it? So whenever you have to answer the questions, don't go in the flow of the teacher, because I will be asking your questions in a relatively faster manner so that you people commit the mistake. And same thing will be done by UPSC also. Okay? They will be asking the questions in a manner that you will be forced to commit a mistake if you are not very serious or very concentrated. Okay? So this will be a factual part as well as application part. There will be few things which will be conceptual in nature, but fewer concepts. More or less all those concepts will be the applied part. Okay? We'll come to the syllabus later on. If we have to talk about the relevance of Indian geography, so obviously we understand that it will be relevant in general studies paper 1, ये तो सबको पता है. But it will also be relevant in general studies mains paper 3, not just in environment section but also in disaster management section, also in the economy section, because there is going to be a huge overlapping. And many a time you will feel when you will see the PYQs also in mains, you will see a lot of questions which otherwise should form a part of general studies paper 3 have been asked in general studies paper 1. Example, question on food security. Have you gone through the PYQs, some of the PYQs? Okay, so question on food security. Food security is a topic explicitly mentioned in general studies paper 3, but the question was asked in general studies paper 1, right? Last year a question was asked in relation to the India's food import dependence and gradually transforming towards a country having food surplus because of the green revolution. This topic is explicitly mentioned in general studies paper 3, but again it was asked in general studies paper 1. Okay? Why this happens? There is a simple logic, because there is a huge overlapping between these sections. ठीक है. Now in such type of questions ऐसा भी नहीं है कि answer will vary a lot. No, answer will not vary a lot. There will be just few things which might vary, but ऐसा नहीं है कि if the question has been asked in general studies paper 1 तो कुछ और ही आंसर हो जाएगा, and same question, identical question is asked in general studies paper 3 तो कुछ और आंसर हो जाएगा. There will be few changes, but the crux, but the core will remain same. ठीक है, right? If we have to talk about, let's say we see the syllabus. Now UPSC writes the syllabus. You must have gone through this syllabus a lot of times, I hope so. Okay. Now as far as the geography is concerned, there are certain important things. One important things, first is the world physical geography, which is done by you. Okay. Second is distribution of key natural resources across the world. So this is a natural resource section, including South Asia as well as the Indian subcontinent. So resource distribution, we will be doing it for India in Indian geography. Then you have factors responsible for the location of industries, primary, secondary and tertiary. Again, from the Indian perspective, we shall be doing this thing, locational factors for industrial distribution in India. That why is it so that iron industries are found in India in a specific region? Why the coal-based thermal power plants are found in a specific region? Why pharmaceutical industries are distributed across India? They are not located to any one particular area. Why cotton mills are decentralized industries? Okay, so we shall be discussing all these things. Why few industries are localized in nature, that is they are found, let's say, only in the eastern plateau of India, or why some of the other industries are found across India's length and breadth. So which factors govern industrial location? We shall be doing it for India here. The last section is very important. It says important geophysical phenomena such as earthquake, tsunami, volcano. This obviously you have done. But in the next component, UPSC says changes in the critical geographical features, flora and fauna, and the effect of these changes. That is why every year you will see at least one question which will be dealing with the changes of these things, critical geographical features. For example, melting of the glaciers and its impact. So changing of a feature, rising of sea level and its impact, changing of a feature, Questions on deforestation and land degradation, changing of the nature of the land, hence a question. Okay, so because this topic is very much contemporary in nature, so you will find a lot of questions. And also all these topics has huge interlinkages with climate change. But if I ask you a question that why glaciers are melting, why there is a land degradation, why the sea level is rising, the common root cause is what? Climate change. And that is why this section will be having huge overlapping with General Studies Paper 3 Environment section, because there you study about these things: pollution, conservation, environmental impact assessment, etc. Am I making some sense? Okay, for few people it is shared, for few it isn't shared. If there is a lot of glare, okay, just uh okay, just a minute. Now this screen is visible to you? Okay. Okay, यही अपने काम की चीज भी है. So we shall be discussing these things. This is basically, if this is not visible, मैं आपको, I will just let you know. This is basically the distribution of PYQs in prelims as well as mains in different sections. So this is a screen which gives you just two important conclusions. When you come to the prelims part from the Indian geography sections, on an average, this is a section which is related to Indian geography, that is the human geography, agriculture resources, the last row. Okay, so here you will find on an average 2 to 4 questions every year, right? And the second thing is Indian map as well as physical resources. Here also you will see around 1 to 3 questions every year. So that means from Indian geography you are going to get around 3 to 6 questions every year. ठीक है? This is the only thing, relevance of this particular stream. When you come to the mains, every year from Indian geography you are going to get around 2 to 3 questions. इतना ही इस screen का काम था, बाकी हम will do it on black screen. Okay, fine. Now, if we have to go towards the sources, which sources are to be followed for geography in general as well as Indian geography in particular, the sources remain same. Okay, first and foremost is the NCERTs, only class 11th NCERTs. When you have to talk about class 12th NCERTs, in the class 12th NCERTs there are just few sections which are important, and those sections are resources. So from class 12th NCERT you have to do only the resources. Okay, class 11th NCERT is the Bible, Gita, Quran of geography. Word by word, line by line, हर एक चीज is important when you go to the 11th class geography for physical geography as well as Indian geography. Do you need to follow any other textbook for geography? No. NCERTs are the most beautiful resources for geography for the UPSC examination. ठीक है, तो कोई और टेक्स्ट की जरूरत नहीं है. Are you getting it? Because there are a lot of doubts that whether do we have to read about G.C. Leong or any other textbook in the market. So I would suggest there is no need to read, because even if the question comes from, because first of all, if you analyze PYQs, you tell me any one question in mains or prelims which you feel that it cannot be solved by NCERT, but it can be solved by G.C. Leong. If there is a question which is not solved by NCERT, so it would not have been solved by the G.C. Leong also. Example, last year in mains the question came linking the cultural aspects of the monsoonal winds in the Bhojpur region. You remember that very famous question that there are Purvaiya winds in the Bhojpur region, what impact on culture that this have? So the Purvaiya winds of the Indian monsoon, this is mentioned in NCERT, this is mentioned in other textbooks also. Its cultural impacts on Bhojpur region, it is not mentioned in NCERT, but it is not neither mentioned in other textbooks also. So फिर पढ़ना क्यों है? Just read the NCERTs, right? Okay. Yes, Soumya, for world physical geography also NCERT is sufficient. Above NCERT, obviously the class notes. After these class notes, you have IS Compass book of geography, right? Yes, Prerna, what is your question? So, I have a doubt regarding the edition of NCERT. It has to be the latest one or anyone will work? Any edition will work. Okay. In latest edition, there are few sections which are not there. For example, natural vegetation is slightly less written about in the latest edition. See, that is why I am coming to the other resources also, because if those sections are not in the latest edition of NCERT, obviously we are going to cover them in the class. If let's say some section is not adequately covered in class, it will be there in the IS Compass also. After reading all these things, you will be solving a lot of tests also. You will be attending a lot of current affair classes also. Okay, na? So it is not going to be a situation that any one particular section is left. If it is not covered here, it will be covered here or here or here or here. Okay, so that is why a suggestion from my side is that because there are a lot of resources in the market from various institutes, always focus on one institute. So complete all the resources of any one particular institute, because here we are talking about these things. So just go through all these resources, right? So these are the sources which you need to follow, and obviously the PYQs. Now, have PYQs to be attempted along with these lectures. Let's say today we are discussing the introduction of Indian geography, extent, location. We'll be discussing this topic also. So, do you need to cover the PYQs about extent, location today only? Nahi, ऐसा नहीं है. Okay. First, give some respect to the subject. Complete 2 to 3 topics and then try to see the PYQs, because in PYQs, if there are 3 statements, one statement can be from the extent and location of geography. The second statement will come from the Indian climate. Third statement will come from the Indian soil. So how are you going to solve those questions? समझ में आ रहा है? So that is why first complete 2 to 3 sections so that you are able to solve the question, all the 3 statements. Right? चलो. अभी तक any doubt, any general thing, because now we are moving towards our first topic, that is the size, extent and location of India. And we'll see towards the end of this lecture that how beautifully UPSC frames questions out of such basic topics also. It is a complete factual topic, but how you have to develop interlinkages we'll see towards the end with the help of a PYQ mains. Okay. Any question till now? Just go ahead, otherwise we'll move forward.